Good evening. How are you?
Hot. It is hot.
Oh no, it's too cold. I don't like it. Yeah, no, it really is hot.
It is.
We moan in the UK that it's too hot all the time, and then when it's cold, we moan that it's too cold. So, but
it's a muggy hot though, so it's not.
My
not
moobs
nice.
are swimming. My moobs are doing breaststrokes. They're literally sweating. It's not a good look. I'm glad my uniform's black.
Yeah, we look like we've just been out swimming. But no, it's hot and horrible. But everything been good your end?
Yeah, had a few issues with my job, which I've sorted out for the time being, so that's all right. And just been getting stuff ready for the special show tomorrow night, which we'll show a trailer for later. But people can see on the little ticker what's going on. Yeah, but other than that, it's been quite chilled. Yourself?
Yeah, it's been good. Kids are just getting into the swing of back into a routine with boys going back to school. You know, Gino went back today. Rocco goes back tomorrow. So, you know, and it's just you realise how quick that they're growing up. You know, like, you know, Gino's starting his second year of secondary school, and then Rocco's in his last year of junior school. You know, so it's just like it's the fact that they're growing up, but it's the fact that I'm actually getting old, and it's scary.
I can't see any grey hairs. Look, I've gone grey.
You might have gone grey, but I think I'm going a bit thin on the top. If I'm honest, I'm going to. So I'd rather go grey than go bald.
Why? What's wrong with being bald?
It wouldn't suit me.
I could be Lex. You could be Brian.
Do you remember the Cabbage Patch dolls? Do you remember them? I look like one of them.
Oh wow! I do apologise if there's any bald people in our audience, Mr. Laverty. Sorry.
I'm not on about them. I'm on about how I would look if I was bald. It would not. Or the other thing that I would look like. Do you remember the Goonies?
Sloth.
Like, hey, you guys. Yeah, I would look like him.
Oh dear.
But no.
Well, we've got a great guest tonight. This guy is, well, you could either say he's absolutely insane, or you could say he's really brave, because during May wasn't it? Global Ghost Hunt.
May global ghost hunt. Yeah.
He spent the entire night in a haunted brothel on his own doing an investigation. That's some
Yes.
pretty crazy stuff. So,
And do you know what? To be fair, he had one light to shine throughout the whole investigation that he did. And as we were saying to him in the background, is either you're crazy or you're very brave. But
yeah,
I think we both looked at each other and agreed that we wouldn't be doing that on our own. But
no, I'm holding your hand tomorrow night when we go to 30 Drive. So, okay, let's
no,
bring him up. I don't know where he is, but hello, Michael.
Oh,
hello.
hey, hello.
Well, that was an entrance.
Best entrance so far.
We're going crazy now. We can see which way we're going with this conversation.
But no, thank you very much for taking time out to join us this evening.
Thank you.
As we said, I first got to know you. Well, I think originally I got to see you first because you were on a podcast with Miranda Young on the Ghost Biker Exploration Garage podcast, which was great. And then you did the Global Ghost Hunt. But to start off with, Michael, really, is where did your journey start with the paranormal? How did you get into it?
It really all started just growing up. I really love just watching all the ghost shows. I'm sure everyone already knows. And after like going through high school, I really want to like put something together, create a group. And then it fell out. And then I went to college. After college, I worked for 3 years like in construction. And then after that, we were locked down because of the pandemic. And then I really wanted to just find something that I really wanted to do. And I remember that I really want to do the whole ghost hunt and filming and all that and the YouTube. And so that's where 3 years ago, this coming October will be 3 years. That's when I want to really do this for real. And here I am, just traveling around to different states, and we're just gonna make it happen.
That's absolutely great. And you said just quick, you started your journey by watching the TV shows.
And
watching the TV shows and then actually doing the investigations yourself. Did you see a difference to what the TV shows show to what a real investigation is? Did you learn anything from that?
I learned that for TV, it's for the ratings, they kind of exaggerate to the degree, like for example, the brothel. Like I know, like I don't know, I think like I'm sure this newer show called, you guys know, Ghost of Devil's Perch.
Yeah.
There's them. I think Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventure. Ghost Adventures was the first one, but obviously I've been to the places that they've done during theirs, but at least for me, it didn't come out the way. Maybe I just wasn't asking the right questions, but it just something happened, but it wasn't too insanely scary where I should run or something. I mean, that's a different story because there is parts I did run, but it's just I guess it's miss or hit for different people, and kind of like everyone's different depending on how sensitive they are. But I do know that on TV there's some parts that they exaggerate, but real ghost hunting, it's not like that full extent, I guess, if that makes sense.
On TV, it's all about how much money they spend on production as well, isn't it? It's like when we go out, we've got our camera, we've got our little bits of equipment, and then when you watch some of these TV shows go out, they've got a full film crew behind them. They've got a big budget, so they can afford to do a little bit more than we can and hype it up a little bit more.
Yeah, and some things that they hear, possibly could be from the people with the cameras. They trip over something, but then they didn't look or hear. They just like, oh my God, you hear that? And there could be a lot of things, but I don't know. Like I said, it's exaggerated, and even people who film on YouTube, they do the same thing. Are they wrong for doing it? No, but it's just kind of like to get more attention in a way for the viewers. And I'm sure a lot of people don't really care if it's real or not, but I don't know, if I were to make up something, it just wouldn't be believable. And I don't know, I'd be the worst at faking something. You'd be like,
I
come
think
on.
I think that would be my if I try to do something. I think people know me too well, and they'll be able
Yeah.
to tell if I'm doing something because I wouldn't be able to do it for my own character as well. I wouldn't be able to do it and try and because in a way it's like you're deceiving people, making it something, you know. But since doing it, you know, you've gone into it 3 years into it. Have you got a sort of your own unique style of how you like to investigate? What's your sort of process when you go
Um,
into locations?
well, they always give me a day tour. I'll learn a little bit of the history, like maybe 25% of it. I'll learn something about the history that they'll tell me. But the more important part is just kind of learning where are the hot spots, where is something that has people in the past gone the most activity, and that's the places I want to focus on, just so I don't want to go to this room that wasn't talked about as much, and I sit there for 3, 4 hours and nothing happens. So I
Mm,
like to find the places that are the hot spot, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna go to other spots that aren't talked about. I'll still do that, but I always want to start off the part where it's talked about the most, and then I like to gather as much credible, real evidence, just so we're kind of following, what's really gonna happen, and also with that, like for me it's hard for me to fake something because if something happens, I'm just one person and everyone knows that. I'm just a one-man crew, so it's gonna be pretty authentic because I know that the owners or people who work at these locations, they usually will let me be in this building by myself. I mean, they'll be somewhere, but they're not gonna be like inside the building. They'll be like, if I needed them for something, I would like call them, say, hey, can you come back here? I have something to ask you about so and so, and yeah.
That makes sense. Have you ever thought about having a like team members, or do you prefer to be on your own?
I prefer to have team members, honestly. It's just difficult, and I want to find the right people that really has the same passion and you know has the good mindset of being you know the same thing for what I'm looking for. And I'm always open to change. If I need change of something, the way I film, I'm always open to. I want constructive criticism and um, other opinions to help grow this
Yeah,
mm.
journey.
that
So
makes sense.
I think having that sort of open mind and be willing to change in a constructive way is always good because we're always learning. Everything we do is a learning curve. But doing this on your own, has there been certain locations that you've gone into? Like, is there a particular one that you think is you've gone a bit over your own boundaries where you feel too uncomfortable to be there? Is there anything that's happened that sort of put you on?
Yeah, that's probably. I think we already talked about the brothel in Montana has just the basement. Like every time I'm down there, even if I'm just doing a day tour, I can just feel. Even when there's people with me, I just feel like it's a very unwelcoming feeling. Like I should not be down there, and I don't know why. It's just it because when you go to a brothel, it's like a happy place to appeal to. You don't really. There's nothing negative that should happen there, and I I don't know how to explain it. Just the basement's just
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Like I know I said I would go to places on my own. The basement, I'll go down there for maybe like 10 minutes, and then after I'm like, okay, I'm out because I don't want whatever's down there following me home. That's like my biggest fear.
Yeah,
Definitely. And what was the history of the brothel? You chose that because you did that also as part of the global ghost hunt investigation for yourself. What's the history about that building? I know it's a brothel, but was there a particular reason that you were drawn to that location?
Well, because it used to be an old mining town. They have. I'm sure this has happened with other small towns that are like mine towns and stuff. They have underground tunnels, and that's where all the illegal naughty activities happen that they don't want the whole outside city to see, like prostitutes. Like I feel like even human trafficking probably. I don't even know if that was a thing back then, but I'm sure that probably maybe happened. Um,
Mm,
a lot of people like stealing gold or silver or any stuff like that, and probably there's been probably murders, and I feel like all of that is like a mixture of like a lot of different hauntings that get drawn to different locations because there's like probably like 4 or 5 plus different buildings in that entire city. It's not a big city that there's something happening there. Like even I haven't gone to this place yet, but there's like a courthouse there that's even haunted. And I've seen the show Ghost of Devil's Perch. They investigated, and I didn't know you could do that. And they definitely had some unexplainable um parts that even like for me like okay that's really weird, but again it's TV, that could be all just for nothing.
Mm,
But
mm.
that's it's a mixture of just haunting that just seems like it just never leaves. There's always something there.
Okay.
And
So with like going out on your own, what equipment do you take with you? Because obviously you must travel a little bit lighter than what you would if you was with a team. So what
Yeah.
kind of stuff do you take with you when you go out?
I bring night vision camera, extra batteries. I bring a EVP recorder, spirit box, REM pod, EMF detector, and I bring like a tennis ball. This has never happened in any of my investigations yet, but maybe it might, maybe soon. But I bring a tennis ball because I don't know how the spirits are to get touchy to like move like items. I've never like seen it with my own eyes before, but that's something I want to really try to capture on film because it's like I don't know, like I touched this item and seeing something that you can't see with your own eyes, moving it, throwing it, it's like I don't know, it's just like one thing I want to try to capture. Hopefully it doesn't like throw it at me because then I probably will leave and might as well. All right, I'm gonna quit. I don't know if I don't want to get attacked by these spirits no more.
do you think that if something like that happened, I would be me? If I caught something like that, and I'd be like, okay, I got what I wanted. I'm done now. I'm going to retire. That's it for me. If something like that happened, would that is that what you're looking for? That key bit of evidence, or
Uh,
to capture? And would you carry on afterwards if you got that, or
Probably. I probably won't continue to do it on my own because I'll just be a little weenie for the rest of however long I plan on doing this.
de-
But um, yeah, I don't know.
um,
I capture apparitions too, and they have been very interesting. There's always a lot of things that could debunk this as not paranormal, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything with my own eyes before, but I don't even know how people can even see it when it's literally like pitch black. Like, how do they see it? Maybe it's just because your eyes are just so adjusted to darkness, and you probably can. But I literally have never seen it, and I don't know how, but I'm sure maybe there's certain parts that your eyes is your. It's like your mind's probably playing a trick, and you're just kind of so drawn in that you do see it, but in real reality, do you actually see it?
It's a good question.
That's something I'm still kind of figuring out.
and with the equipment that you use, um, is there anything that you've come across that you don't feel actually belongs in the paranormal that you don't get on with at all?
I haven't used it. This is actually my very first one before I started doing private paranormal investigations. So I went to the Montana State Prison, and it was at the time when Ghost Hunt USA was around, but they had these like this like flashlight that turns on and off, and apparently the spirits can control that. And I feel like, and it runs on battery too. You got to put like a AA battery in it, and I feel like that's something that to me shouldn't be used because it could just turn off on its own because the battery's just running out juice and you need to change or something. And I feel like that's just not credible evidence to try to use to capture, in my opinion.
Hmm,
Do you use any of these apps that you can get on your phone, or do you stay away from apps?
I stay away from the apps just because it's kind of the same thing. Like, I mean, I'm sure maybe some stuff like like the spirit box, except there's this app that's kind of like a spirit box where it'll just say words. I mean, I used it before, and I'm like the first time before I started the whole YouTube channel, and it just to me, I don't know. I would have to like do it again, but I would have to have like I forgot what's that device that like it's like a dictionary and it'll say a word.
Ovulus.
The
Oh,
Ovilus. If I use that and my phone and they're both saying the same things, even if like I use this first, then I go somewhere else and I come back and I use my phone, if they're saying the same things, then it might change my perspective on the apps for ghost hunting. But for now, I don't think it should be the best. It should just be just the authentic equipment that it's created to use and just not on the phone. But others may disagree, and like I said, I'm always open to trying it, maybe with other people's experiences, seeing where things go.
no, definitely. And with I think with the paranormal, it's always a learning experience. Like, I think it's very clear we're never going to know exactly what's out there. We can only assume, we can only base it on evidence that we picked up. But one thing we were touching on was TV shows, and one thing I think is very common with them is they're very quick to use the word demonic.
The demonic,
And yeah, like demonic entities, demonic
yeah.
being, whatever the way they like to portray it. But we've done a lot of investigations, and we've been told there's something demonic, there's this and that, but never really come across anything like it. For you, what are your thoughts when it comes to demonic entities? Do you believe there's something demonic? Are they real, or do you think it's just something that's been hyped up by TVs?
I believe they're real. It really kind of comes down to the location and what has actually happened physically in the past, like when they did rituals, they did um something that's literally pure evil to another human being, animal. I think that's kind of where the word demonic probably would to me would be real. Like for example, like the I think this is in Texas, the Goatman's Bridge.
Yep.
Mm.
um I could be wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think they did like rituals and stuff like that. When I hear stuff like that, I feel like that's truly where a negative demonic entity can that is there,
Yeah.
that you may potentially come in contact with. But other than that, like if places like for example like a hospital, obviously there's people that come in, they're hurt, and then they pass away. Like I wouldn't say anything is demonic there unless if after like the hospital closed down, maybe some people break in, they start doing the summonings and rituals, and maybe because I think that it's just kind of universal for how they are brought in. Like for example, like the Ouija boards. Like I know it's just like it's literally made by Hasbro, the company that makes board games. I honestly think that's real. For me, I will definitely not use it because I don't like to have anything follow me home or have that that negative spiritual attachment, because that's just like not good. I believe that's real, but
Mm.
yeah, that's kind of my take on that.
And I agree. And the other thing that I'm keen to know, being a lone investigator, that's, very brave to do. But what do your family and friends think about, you going around traveling to these locations and,
They think I'm
staying
crazy.
up?
They
That
think I'm
is
crazy.
because, like we've said, a lot of the times it's, mainly people in groups doing it. Have you ever invited any of your friends or family to participate in one of your investigations?
My family would definitely be ashamed of me. Which
Okay.
I'll be honest, I should probably tell them at some point, but I haven't really told my parents about this because like in the Asian culture, they expect you to do good things to make a lot of money, to all that kind of stuff. And if I told them, I honestly don't want to disappoint them. And it's just that like culture within like the Asian, and they
Mm.
expect you to like, oh, be a doctor, be a lawyer, all that kind of stuff. And to me, it's like they need to like be more open with what I want to do. And obviously, I do want to make a lot of money. I want to support them, and it's my turn to take care of
Mm.
them. It's just with my parents, it's different, but with my friends, I do invite them out, and I just want to just show them, just this is kind of how it is. I know you've seen it on TV, but now I want to show you this, and I want to hear your take on it. What do you think about it? And a couple of them they would love to come back. The others, they're like, well, I think this is fake. Even if you have all these fancy equipment, I still think it's fake. Like, I mean, that's reasonable. I mean, I'm not trying to force anyone to say, yeah, this is real. Like, everyone has different viewings on spiritual spiritual things. And yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. I think when you're basing, like, when we're talking about parents and the difference of from when they were brought up to their culture, it's like I'm from a Catholic background, and I'll be honest. When we tell my mum about it, she doesn't believe in it, because the way she sees it, and I think the way she's been brought up is we're testing fate. We shouldn't be doing that sort of thing, because you hear the stories and everything. So, and I agree, if it's a passion, you've got to do what you're happy doing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I get, you don't want to upset the family, especially the mamas in the family, because if anything, like my mum, she'll clip me around the ear still. If I, but no, it's
I'm crazy. She thinks I'm a loony for going to all these places. She's like, why do you want to go and put yourself in that position? I'm like, but why not? So bless them.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I think it's hard. Go on, Michael, you go first, mate.
um, I think it's also just kind of like, I like to travel. I love to learn the history. Like, I still love like the ghost hunting, finding spiritual evidence, but I just really love learning history, seeing how things were like back then, and being able to use that to help make um real connections from, obviously, someone that's living to someone that's a spirit. But along with that, it's like I love meeting people and being just kind of seeing different backgrounds, really. And right now, like, I'm really young, and I want to be able to travel and be able to do bigger things. This whole ghost hunting thing could lead me to, I could be like an editor for video cinema productions for big professional, something like that maybe. But it's all just it's really for the experience, and it definitely is a very expensive hobby. I saw this like little meme, something about like, you're a ghost hunter or something. I don't know how to say it. It's like you're a ghost hunter, and then how you feel right now. I'm para broke or something like that.
That's true. That's true. Always broke.
No, I like that. It's an expensive hobby, but if you got the passion for it, and you can, like you're saying, you're trying to find that great piece of evidence, it's going to be well worth it.
Yeah.
And today, what would you say is your piece of evidence that you've caught?
Say again. I'm sorry.
Now, have you got a piece of evidence that you would class as your best bit of evidence that you've caught to date out of all the investigations that you've done?
Hmm. Um. Right now, there's one video I'm working on right now that I would say, but I don't want to say it yet. I'll say the other one is
Okay.
just mainly, what is it? I'm trying to think. That's a tough question. I will have to get back to you on that. Sorry, I can't think of one right now. There is one,
But
but I don't want to give that away. Yeah, I'd be spoiling it.
no, that's fine. So
I
Brian's
w-
saying the brothel that you did was good.
yeah, I would say that one. Just the basement. I wish when people watch something, and if they can feel what I feel, that'd be a great way to. Rob's looking like a gangster.
Apparently, I look like a gangster.
um, if they can feel what I feel, like the cold breeze, stuff like that, then I would say just hearing that and would I don't know, just seeing my reaction is really kind of something. I mean, just the apparitions and like the one in um, oh, I mean, the first visit when I went to, yeah, what Brian said, the first time I went to a brothel, I caught that apparition in the window peeking out. That was probably my favorite and most mysterious capture I ever caught on camera in that time.
Wow.
That's cool. We refer back to the brothel one, because that was a cool investigation. And I think with the shadow, if I remember rightly, me, Brian, and Matt Barron were watching, and I think Matt sort of said it because he was. I think Matt caught the shadow originally, and he started saying that there's a shadow there, there's a shadow there, which was it was really cool. See, like others, I actually watch his videos.
Mr. Laverty's digging.
He's having a dig. But no, it's great. So, upcoming investigation, we know you're actually on location at the moment. Well, you're not at home at the moment. You've actually traveled out for an investigation that you're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell this is not my normal
Your
setup.
normal
I'm just
setup.
like I'm literally on a couch, and this is like my hotel room right now. It's very humid, Iowa. Like I've never been to an area. I'm assuming this is all the Midwest states in the U.S. It's just like what is it? Like you're sweating, but then when you um wear a hat, and then after you take off your hat, and then your whole head's already it's like sweating. It's like sweat on sweat. Like your sweats are even sweating itself.
Yeah.
If that made sense. But
Well,
I am tomorrow for 22 hours. I will be literally investigating the Annenberg Manor in Monticello, Iowa, which is like used to be like a asylum. It's like an old poor county farm where um, people like live there. There's like documented deaths there. So that's the one that I'm gonna be doing, and on my own as usual. I really wish there's people because that's gonna be a long time of filming. I'm gonna really stay on that property for that long. I'm gonna like bring food. There's even like a property behind that I can like sleep into, which is super nice. And I'm going to literally do and film as much as I can to really make this the most entertaining video. Yeah, and yes, the Edinburgh Manor is gonna be part of the global ghost hunt. That's actually how I found it when Brian posts, like the Edinburgh Manor is gonna be part of the ghost hunt in October. That's how I found out. So I did some more research. This was like 3 months ago, and I'm like, wow, this place is really really creepy, and the history, and I started like reading the reviews of people who investigated there, and the basement's like the main hotspot, and I just like I really want to do this. And then I made reservation, and I just asked like how much is it gonna be, and literally for the time I have, it's like $250 for like 22 hours. I mean that's a great deal.
That's a lot
that
cheaper
is
than some places that we go over here.
yeah. And how big is the property then that you're going to be investigating tomorrow?
It's like 3 stories. I don't know. If I had to
Three
guess, like
stories walking around on your own.
Yeah, no.
it's probably I want to say it's like 20,000 square feet. If you look at the picture online, it'll be easier, but it's a pretty big building. Like, I don't know. I'm guessing there's gonna be like 20 rooms per floor, except I don't know what's in the basement. I think the basement is just more of a wide open space, but there's like probably 20 rooms on each floor. So I'm not
Um,
sure. Yeah.
20 rooms on each floor, walking
So,
around the whole building on your own.
yeah, I'm probably gonna ask the owner, see, her name is Cindy. I'm gonna ask her, see if she would at least help be a part of it just for an hour or so, because like I said, I might be bored if nothing happens for a while. And if I reach that point, then I'm literally gonna fall asleep, because my goal is to try to stay awake for 24 hours to literally film and experience
Film as much.
yeah. I mean, it'll be tiring when I have to review all that footage, and that might take me a while to do, but besides that, it was just like I don't know, been a very popular spot recently that I never
Yeah.
knew.
So it's
That's it.
basement and then 3 floors up above it.
Yes. Yeah.
Lots of windows. No, I'll be walking out the other way and heading back to the car to get in the car and driving away. I'm just looking at it online now, and I'm like, yep, no, not one for
Yeah.
us.
And obviously if there's cars and stuff, I'm sure I can hear that. But when you're in the basement, there's not really a whole lot of windows. I don't know if the picture you're looking at, there's not too many windows. So if anything like happens, because I think the basement is the basement I think it's made of concrete, so any like sounds from the outside would be very hard to see to hear from the inside.
Yeah.
But
And you said about like you sometimes do the tours, you try and gauge. Is that to find out, the kind of spirits that could potentially be there, so you know who you're trying to communicate with? Do you think that helps to know about the history? Because some people go in totally blind about
blind, yeah.
a location. Um, so do you think that works, or do you think knowing a little bit about what could be there, does that help elevate your investigation?
It does, because if what the history of what the owners are telling me are true, I like to use that. And if the spirits that are still there recognize with what I'm referring to, I think that's where you get more of a more credible communication, more in a reaction of something actually happening. Or if I just go in there and say, "Who are you? What's your name?" And if I just said the name that they said this person used to live here or was part of, like I say, I think I would get more connection than just sitting there blindly and for a few hours nothing happens. So I think you get more activity when you know the real true history and personnels that was associated with the building.
Associated to. That's fair. That's a fair comment. Because sometimes when I go into an investigation, I don't tend to really look into history or find out anything. And sometimes you are playing, like, you get a response, but you can't get a direct of who it actually is. So maybe knowing a little bit more about the location will help connect better and get a more accurate response from what you're dealing with, really. And going into the investigation tomorrow, have you got a sort of idea how you're going to do it, like where you're going to start and what equipment you're going to use tomorrow?
Well, I'm probably gonna just start with the spirit box. Oh, we're changing
What is
things
going
up.
on? Oh, mate, what's
Uh,
going on?
no,
There
no,
we go.
don't touch anything, Rob.
No, I'm trying to get the picture up. Right, there we go. I'm going to take us all off for a sec. This is the
Sweet.
picture. So it's quite spooky.
Oh, just imagine being there in person.
No, not at all.
I drove up just to check out for a couple minutes, and then I just drove off, because even if you want to get a day tour there, you have to, everything's all reservations, so you can't just show up and say, "Hey, can I get a day tour?" Like, you have to make a reservation, so, and they won't let you tour the place. But I just drove up, and I was like, "Oh my god, this thing is like massive!" Like, I was like, "Oh my god, like this place is gonna be creepy." Like, I yeah.
Yeah, no, I
It looks
definitely.
like an amazing location, though.
Oh
Would
yeah.
I do it?
Yeah. Here's one thing I really want to do if when I get more people is like and I've seen this done on Ghost Adventures before. I want to try. So you have like a big speaker and you place your phone kind of like somewhere in the same room.
Yeah.
And pretty much, so you leave your phone there and then you go to, say you go 2 floors up and you are calling, and then you just start asking spirits question. That's why you have a speaker there, so they can hear you. And then if you actually get some sort of voice, like, I think that would be a great finding to communicate. I've never tried it before, but again, I have one phone. I can't do it unless if I have another person with me.
Yeah.
I want to try something like that.
So you're on the back. Oh, okay. And so you're using 2 phones. One phone you leave in one of the rooms, and then you're talking, and you're just waiting to see if you get a response come through the phone from the other
Yes.
end.
Yes.
That would be cool. Can you imagine that you do get the response and there's no one there? Would you be brave enough to go back and get the phone in the dark? Because I would.
I might, I might,
I'd be
might,
all-
I might maybe keep the flashlight on coming down so I don't, I don't trip or anything if something spooked me or touched me. Which is another thing. I've never been touched before. Have you guys ever had something touch you, push you, or have you ever had that before?
Yeah,
And
I have.
if you have, can you kind of just elaborate a little bit what that felt like? And to you, I'm sure you were scared, but what did that make you feel? How did that make you feel?
Ooh. I asked for it, so I literally I called out and I was like, if you're here, prove it, touch me, whatever you want to do. And then it happened, and yeah, it felt good. It felt good that it was on camera, so it got it. I physically was like, oh, something's just tugged at me in that. Would I say it again? Probably not now, because I seem to get it quite a lot if we go out. Like, they seem to always pick on me, which is why Nando's being sacrificed tomorrow at our location, because I'm fed up with it. So it's Nando's turn.
I think for me, I've said this before. I find it. I go on locations, and you can sort of get from without any kind of like ability. You pick up the vibe of a location, just the layout, the way, and then when you start learning about the history. But for me, I've never really picked up anything using my own body at a location. Mine's been like more personal stuff. Like if there's anything that I've ever experienced has been about two of my relatives that have passed on, and the feel that you get is like I remember vividly that there was one evening I was sat on the sofa and I could feel like it was like the shape of the hand touching your shoulder, but it was like a constant like a heat coming from it as well. Does that make sense? I know
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the only way I can explain it because I've never experienced it before. But then the other thing for me is more I with a particular person is the smell. I can pick up their like this person used to smoke particular tobacco, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but licorice rolly papers when they
Hmm.
and I can pick up that smell, and that happens quite often. But yeah, being touched is like this, like having a heat pad on you in a way,
Yeah.
but in the shape of a hand. That's what I've experienced anyway.
Have
I don't
you
know.
seen stuff with your own eyes moving when you know it's just you or just your group there? Have you seen anything like that with your own eyes?
Again, for me personally, never out on a location, and I think I've told this story before. I was sat at home, my kids are in bed, wife's in bed, and I was sat in the front room. And the house that we lived in, it was like one of those, like, do you know the heavy white doors that, like fire doors in a way? So the handles, you got to really push down and open. The
Yeah.
door flew open, and my grandfather walked in, like the full apparition of him. I could see his facial features and everything. And I know I was awake because I've never run upstairs to my wife so quickly. That was the first time. So, but yeah, that's my
We,
first actual experience.
we also had the one at your house after we done a podcast together, and at the end of the podcast we were chatting, and all of a sudden the door starts rattling behind Nando, and I've never seen someone shit themselves so much. He's turning off all the lights, leaving me on, going, right, I'm running upstairs now. I was like,
Do you know what it is? I've not gone into it as it wasn't something that I was. Well, like, I've seen the TV shows. I've had little things happen growing up. My wife was in this a lot longer than I was, and then she sort of got me involved. And it's since talking to a lot of people and doing the investigation, you sort of realise, there is more. I think when you're not in the paranormal as such, you don't really realise what can happen behind the scenes. And it was like Rob saying, we were literally just talking like this, and the door started getting. You can see the handle going, and I'm there like switching on every light with my camera, and I was like, Rob, stay with me until I go upstairs, and I was done. I was like, but yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It is weird when
It,
stuff like that happens and you don't expect it. It sort of unsettles you. Well, me anyway.
yeah. You know what would have made this podcast more exciting? if we did just tomorrow, I literally would set up and do a podcast as I'm doing the investigation, so at least you guys and people who are watching can actually see the real time. Like I'll have a camera facing me. I'm sure you guys can probably hear stuff. If I can hear, I'm sure you guys can hear them. Like, did you guys hear that? Did you just see
Yeah.
that chair move? So like I thought about like wanting to do something like that in the future, and if that's something you guys want to do in the future, do another
Yeah.
podcast while I'm out on site investigating. I think that would be exciting.
You know,
Yeah.
that would be really cool. We can, have you as the main screen and then us in the corner, and we can just watch as you're doing the investigation and see what's picked up.
Yeah,
Like what we're
or
doing tomorrow.
Yeah, a bit
what
like
was
what we're
that?
doing.
Yeah,
So
That'd
tomorrow
be really
we're
cool.
going to 30 East Drive tomorrow. So we're going to stream it live while we're doing the investigation, so people can join in and ask us questions. And we've got someone coming in to watch it who's a professional debunker. He does a lot of debunking of the fake channels. So he's going to come in and he's going to be in the chat, and so it's going to be a great little live investigation tomorrow. So
It
that'd
would
be
be,
awesome.
and I think with the way you want to do it, Michael, is a great way of doing it because people can see what a true investigation is really like at times. Because, like you said in the back, you were saying it's like going fishing, isn't it? You don't know how many fish you're going to catch, and that's the same
Yeah,
with the paranormal. You got to be, as you said, it was very patient. You got to be
yeah,
very patient for it.
it was
Um,
hard.
it is hard. You go into like some locations that are really really cold and you know horrible, and you can be sat there for up to 4 5 hours and absolutely nothing happens. And what for you being on your own, because it's all right for us. We have people around us. So how do you occupy your mind, like keep yourself focused, and what do you do? Because where you're on your own and nothing's happening, what kind of things do you like? Do you have a game that you may play to see if that attracts a spirit? Like, is there anything that you do when it's quiet to try and keep that momentum going and picking up stuff?
I just really just I like to talk a lot, and even when I'm alone and I'm walking around with my camera, I'm just walking like I'm just facing down the hallway. As I'm walking, I just kind of like talk to myself, like, all right, I can do this. And I just kind of say, it's kind of quiet in here. I wonder what's gonna happen next. Like I'm just making small conversations with myself. That's kind of something that helps keep me going and keeps me more active. Most of the time I just kind of sit there and I'm just thinking, you know, there could be worse things that could be happening right now, and for me, I think I'm doing fine right now in terms of like being alone in something that I'm not familiar with in terms of like the environment. I
yeah,
just think I just think positive, and I never let anything drive me away that could.
Just keep going.
you're
And
definitely brave, mate, doing it all on your own.
I know.
that
I really want people. Don't get me wrong, but obviously everyone has like jobs and stuff, and that's totally understandable. And I try to at least plan stuff. Like this one, I literally made the reservation like 3 months ago, and that's where I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and I really want to commit, and I want to find someone who's commit, and not just another person. I want to like find like three more people, and even if they aren't living where I am, if we are all still connected as a group and we just travel here at this location at this time planned ahead, then I'd be happy with that. But in the time being, I just kind of go around. I just kind of meet people, and if I stumble onto the right people that want to be part of this, and I'll extend an invite, and then we will talk more and kind of go from there. But and, uh,
it'll be
that's all.
great
Yeah.
because
So
you
since Global Ghost Hunt, did you find that you got more viewers, more people subscribed to you?
Yeah, I mean, not like a big boost or anything, like another 20 people, and honestly, to me, definitely the views has gone up, and I'm not really so concerned about the numbers. Obviously, I want to reach that milestone But to me, it's just like numbers. Like same thing with the podcast. It'd be awesome to have 1,000, 5,000, million people watch this. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I'm not like really too concerned. It definitely will help, you know, if I meet these requirements and I can get my videos monetized, and then when I get paid, I want to use that money and reinvest it. But for now, it's just a passion, and I'm happy with doing it. And if I don't do this forever, at least I know that I took a risk to do this because I was so scared to do this. Like I'm just scared of failing, and I know that the one thing I do know is if you don't do it or anything like that, then the guarantee is it'll never happen. You know, I failed, and I just have to just kind of go with my gut.
Got to follow your dreams, haven't you?
Yeah, and there's times when I go to bed, I'm just looking up at the ceiling. I'm like, well, I'm doing all this, I'm saving all this money. You know, I'm just money just kind of flying out of my pocket. Like, what am I really getting out of this? And realistically, it's more of like I'm getting the experience. I meet people, I get to travel, and that's one thing that keeps me going. But obviously, I'm not gonna go and spend this X amount of money and then now I can't pay my bills. I'm not gonna do that. I gotta like obviously be responsible still.
Yeah. I think, you know, the biggest failing would be not to try something. You know, I
Yeah,
know, like you're saying, you know, it is a scary stepping into the unknown and not knowing what's going to happen. But it's more of a failing if you don't try it and see what happens. You know, because it's all a learning curve. And you know, if it doesn't work out, at least you've tried it, and then you know how to rebuild yourself. You look at the parts where it may have gone wrong and how you can improve that. I think that's the
yeah,
biggest part of life is hitting those failings and doing something about it. So you know, but I think the way you're investigating and what we saw from the Global Ghost Hunt, you did a great job. And I
Yeah.
think if you continue like that, you know, it will only get better.
true. And one great thing that's really helped me because growing up, I was a very shy. I hate being on camera. I hate socializing with people, and as humans, we're social creatures. We want to have human connection, and with all the filming, with being in front of camera, I feel more confident as a person. I feel more confident just approaching random people when if I go on a hike, if I go for a walk, I'll
Yeah.
just say, "How are you doing?" And if you met me 10, 15 years ago, I'd be the opposite. I would literally just never want to leave my house because I was just so scared to go out there in the world to um, talk to people. Even in the beginning, like I remember this one when at the Montana State Prison, very first video, and as soon as I was with my friends, and I was all right. We're gonna set this camera up here, and then I'm gonna stand in front of it. I'm gonna just say this, and then boom, we're gonna just take some scenic B-roll shots. And literally, I probably stumbled and had to retake that like 5, 10 times, and like in my head as I was talking, I was like, I just don't want to be in front of this camera right now. This is like just I don't know. I just feel so embarrassed. I don't know. Like there's people watching, and that's cool now, but at that time I'm like, all right, I just want to go home now. I don't want to do this no more. But I just kind of forced myself to just do it, and not in a negative way, but just kind of like try something. And that's a I think that's a success to me, is to try and be calm and just be more confident as a person.
Yeah.
I think it shows great qualities and it shows great strength. You know, to do something that you know you don't like to do, and then you know it's like overcoming a fear, isn't it? You know, you got that fear, and you just got to try and find that rational thought in your head to push you. It's like I remember when I first started with Portal to the Paranormal. You know, I did a lot of the like, you know, I would stay in the background. I didn't really get heavily involved. And then
Mm-hmm.
Brian come down to the UK, and we started doing the UK tour with him.
Mm-hmm.
We did the first investigation at Merrily House, and again, I was quite quiet. I wasn't overly chatty. I wouldn't get in front of the camera. And then we did one at a place called Fort Woodley, with the underground forts. And Brian said, "No, no, you haven't been in front of this camera nearly all week. Come, come." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to be cool because he's filming." So I went to lean on the wall like a cool guy, and I didn't realise there was a fireplace. So I nearly fell through. I put my foot in the wrong place. You know, so the first time in front of the camera, I make a fool out of myself. But then since that, I've got, you know, I've made some great connections with people like Rob. You know, talking to all sorts of people from all walks of life of the paranormal. And what is great, you get to learn about them as individuals, like yourself, Michael. You know, you're talking about your background and how it's different for you, and it's great to learn, you know, people's background and how it is not all the same story. It's all very different and different learning curves. You know, which is,
Yeah.
I think it's been great to learn from you today as well.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to touch on as well. You've got your investigation tomorrow, and then you've got one. Is it in November that you were saying backstage? Can you tell us a little bit about that one? Was it November or October that you had one? You said.
It's both.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's going for the killer then. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about those ones?
Yeah, so in the first Saturday in October, which I believe it's the 7th, October 7th, I'm going. This is not too far. I'm just driving there. It's like 3 hours away. I don't have to fly, which is very expensive, but it's called the Libby Hotel, which they're also part of. Well, I don't know actually. I think they might be part of the Global Ghost Hunt.
The Libby Hotel. We'll check that one. But yeah,
I don't know if Brian's still watching, but I did see a post when he's posting all of these locations are going to be part of Global Ghost in October. That's literally how I found that other one. And I've been to
yeah.
Montana many times and never realized, like, oh, wow. I read the story and I called the owner. Yeah, he confirms. And yeah, that place is like, has a lot of hauntings. And I feel like when I talk to that owner, she seems very I'm trying to say in a friendly way. Like she seems too attached, and I feel like she might be exaggerating. But again, everyone's different for what they see or feel around the
Yeah.
paranormal. So I got that one. That one's just gonna be one night, and so that'll be a good one. And then the one in November, the last one of the year. This one's probably gonna be my favorite one, and I don't know why, but hospitals just seem to have like so much different energies and just so much is gonna happen. But this one's actually a very newly location that's probably gonna become more popular. This is in Williamson, West Virginia, which is called the Old College Hill Hospital. I don't know if you guys heard of that before.
I haven't heard of it personally.
I
Project
only
Fear went there.
Destination Fear, and then on
Yeah.
YouTube they couldn't take that name, so they had they created Project Fear.
Yeah. So I watched their one there that they done the other week. Yeah.
Yeah, and that place looked really, really creepy. I was like, wow. Like, I mean, again, they probably could have exaggerated, but just already seeing that environment, just like, I want to like be there and just experience it. I'm probably gonna be scared and just run away. Might hopefully won't fall, but hospitals just seem to like, for me, like the most activity, because I did one in my state in Washington State, I did one in Montana, and this is gonna be my third one, and there's just always something. And I'll tell you this is not caught on camera. I'm glad it's not caught. Well, it was caught on camera, but then I deleted it. I was like, I was gonna make a video out of that, but it just didn't look good. Other than this one part where I screamed, other than that, everything was boring. But this is in my state in Washington. This is the second time I went there. This was probably like last year, and I literally we're on the second floor. There's people, but there's like 5 people behind me, but everyone's sitting on the ground, and I'm like down on this other side hallway, pitch black, can't see anything. And there's a camera right behind, like 150 yards behind me, and I'm looking down the other side, and like next thing you know, like I knew everyone's sitting on the ground, even on camera, and I just hear out in the distance in front of me, like someone's like shuffling their feet on the ground, but they almost sound as it the noise got closer, like someone's like kind of like running towards me in a way. And after that, and I was wearing a hospital gown just so I can kind of blend in with the patients that were alive at the time, and
Oh, that's cool.
just to draw some attention. And then after that, when I heard that, turned around and I literally ran to the other side of the end of the hallway, and I was like running in the dark. Everyone was like, "Are you okay?" Like I was just like freaking out, and I was like surprised I didn't even trip over anything
Wow.
or fall. But that one was probably the scariest, and I'm glad it's not on film anymore. It's very embarrassing.
Sometimes they're the best parts, aren't they? To see the true
They
reaction
are.
of what happens.
Yeah.
It is funny. As much as it's embarrassing, it's a real reaction to what you're
Yeah.
experiencing when you're out on a location. If people did want to join you, Michael, and get involved with what you're doing, where can they find you to make contact with you?
They can find me on Instagram, there's TikTok, Facebook, but on my channel P.N Paranormal, and if you go into my abouts, I have all my social links that you can click on, and if you want to reach out, they can. I also have my business email in the abouts too. They can email me, and that's the best part to really find me. It's just email, and we can be able to do a collab or join together on an investigation. I would love that down the road.
You need to come to the UK, mate.
Yeah.
Come to the UK and we'll go out with you.
The UK. Oh, I need to save up some money so I can travel out to the UK. But
that'd be cool though. That
yeah,
would be good.
I've never been to the UK before, but you said it's hot there right now?
At the moment,
yeah.
Okay, like how hot are we? Is it like 100 degrees, 110?
Oh no, nothing like that.
Not that hot. I think what we're not used to it being hot. It is usually like you either get a bit of sun and then it's loads of rain, or So I think that's why we're complaining a little bit, because we're not used to it being, especially in September, it's a bit sticky. It's not nice.
Yeah, I mean, right now in Iowa, like since I've been here, it's been like almost 100 degrees, and with humidity, you just add on like another 10 degrees. That's how hot it feels.
Yeah, definitely not that hot, thankfully.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't be able to cope if it was that hot.
I mean, just know that I'm sure there's places that are way worse, that like Death Valley in California, they're like 120. Even I think they broke the record for hottest day recorded ever, which was like, I think it was like 132 degrees ever Fahrenheit. That's really hot.
Yeah, no. I would have to find a swimming pool or an ice bucket.
Just sit in just sit in an ice bucket, and then
I would not
just
care.
not move.
I would just sit there and be done with it. I was like, nope, not getting that hot.
Come on, you should give it a try.
No.
and then get back to me on, well, how was it?
Yeah, no.
But you know what? It's it'll be great to hear from you after tomorrow about how your investigation goes. Like, if you can get in touch with us and let us know, and maybe what we can do on the follow-up show, we can just give people a bit of an idea of how your night went. But it'll be great to, when do you think you'll get that all put into a piece to put onto like YouTube and that? When do you think that'll be ready?
I honestly probably not till like January, because this is kind of my plan right now. Like when I go, I film, I edit, then I release, and then I won't have anything to release after that for like another 2 months. So right now, I'm building up about 5 different videos, and by the time it's January 1st, I'm gonna kind of do like a end of the year review from last year into on that day, and then I'll post like a highlight after that, and then every week, probably like second week of January, I'm gonna just release a weekly video of what I have saved up, just so I can try to post consistently.
Yeah,
because it's hard. I want to post every week, but again, I'm one person, and I want find more people to help me, edit, help me join on these investigations. So, there's only so much I can do. I want to do this and post every week, but I have to just do with what I can, because I'm just one person.
But if anyone wants to reach out to Michael, if you're near him, you're watching on playback, reach out to Michael, see if you can make something work. I'm sure it'll be a great
description. So all his links are on the description.
But no, it'll be absolutely great. But yeah, I think it was definitely great to find out more about you, Michael, and what you're doing. And definitely, I think with the stuff that what you got coming up in tomorrow, October and November, to do a part 2 with you to sort of, review the investigations, how it's gone, it'll be great to invite you back on and do a part 2 with you, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. Just let me know, and hopefully maybe next time I could be at an actual location, and we will talk about it, and the spirits can be part of the audience as well.
Maybe
Maybe
we'll do
we-
that on November.
I was just about to say,
Yeah,
maybe if
November.
if you wanted to do the one in November that you're doing, we can do
Yeah.
the live podcast and, you know, watch you do your investigation as we're live. I think that'd be cool. We can definitely do something like that.
Yeah,
if you're up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always up for I'm up for the opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Well,
pencil that in then. We'll chat to you backstage and we'll sort out the dates with you, and we'll do that definitely.
let me just get my secretary to put that in the diary. Can you put that in the diary, please?
I'm
Duly
doing it
noted.
now for you, sir.
Thank you very much. So we get that pencil in. But I just want to say thank you for joining us tonight and, you know, giving us your time, telling us about yourself. And I think look out for November when we will revisit with Michael while he's out on location, which will be a great podcast to do.
You won't be alone then because you have us all behind you.
Well, I also have one of my friends that will be joining me on that too in person. So,
oh, that'd be cool.
That'll be good. And like I said, that hospital, I thought about doing it on my own. It's like I need to like find someone to like do this because it's creepy and
Sounds
just a very uncomfortable feeling. Just even looking at the picture of the place, like, yeah, I don't know about this.
Yeah, no.
I think going into any location on your own is like, I'm not even going to do it, and I feel uncomfortable for you a little bit. Just the thought of, I don't even think I'd make it through the first floor on my own. I don't know. I've got to be honest with you. I don't think I'd be able to do it. It takes a strong character to be able to. Can you imagine once that door's closed, you're on your own, whatever, you know?
Not a chance.
Yeah,
not
I mean, if in the future when you guys do investigations, try to like when you're filming, you're just walking out a hallway, just like try just make small conversations with yourself, like, all right, I am doing this, but and I don't know, I just kind of talk to myself. It kind of helped. It definitely was still scared, but at least I know when I'm speaking to myself, I just kind of I don't know. It made me feel less scared, if that made sense.
Yeah.
Mine would be, I should have listened to my mother when she told me not to do things like this on my own. That would be my conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
just the thought of it. But hey,
no, that's all good.
You only live once.
That's true. You do.
But that's a lie because you live every day.
That's true.
So it's
make
a
the
lie.
most of it. But
Yeah.
It's been absolutely great to finally get to talk to you, Michael, and get to know you a lot more. And hopefully we will see, you know, your videos come out in January. That'd be something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And then,
I know if there's people watching around, they're like, man, like, what? Why can't you just post like I just want to be consistent, and don't worry, I still have great videos on there for if anyone's still watching, like there's still great content. And I still need to work on this is the last thing I'll say. I need to work on a lot of things still, like voice acting when I'm narrating. I need to be more like in the moment when I narrate. I need to generate more of that authentic emotion, which I have been before, but just improve my voice acting and just be more comfortable in front of the camera is literally my two biggest things. And along with that, I want to still continue to improve my editing skills because it's good, but it's not great in my opinion. And I know you're like, don't be so hard on yourself. You make excellent content. Like, yeah, I do. Just I
you want it to be perfect.
I want to be good.
Perfect.
Like, I want this video to be better than the last and just try to build it up. But like I said, I learn something new every day when I edit something, which is nice because technology and the ways you can film things are always changing, and I want the best of the best.
We all do, mate.
Definitely.
We always want it.
But no,
Absolutely.
I'm sure you will do great things, and you know, as you're learning a lot more, and you'll be able to put that into practice. But you know, definitely looking forward to catching up with you in the near future.
Yeah.
and see how you got on. You have to message us just after the investigation to tell us how you got on being in that building on your own, because I think that'll be my first question will be to you. I might even message you. What day is it tomorrow? Tuesday. I'll message you on Wednesday. I was like, Michael, did you survive the night? How did you get on? You know, it's just the thought of you being in there 24 hours on your own. Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely gonna be the longest ever investigation I've done ever, and yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a spooky one for sure. But hey, I want to really push myself a little bit more. Not to anything dangerous, but I want to just push myself and just really test and show that there's real, authentic hauntings. And if I capture that, I'd be happy. But along with that, I just want to experience it too and be safe at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know what? I hope you have a great investigation tomorrow. We'll definitely be talking on Wednesday, just to see if you made it through the night and see what unfolds. But no, again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And, you know, we'd definitely look forward to catching up with you soon and talk more about your investigations and, you know, further plans that you've got coming up in the future. So it'll be great.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you
Cheers.
for having
Thank
me
you,
on.
Michael.
And everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.
We will
See
do
you later,
indeed.
Michael.
Cheers, Michael.
Take care.
You.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Wow. What a great guy. I'll tell you what, do you know what?
How brave.
You're looking at the locations that he's going to tomorrow. The fact that you spoke about the hospital that he's going to do, Libby House. And do you know what? The fact that he's doing it all on his own, you know, it's great that he wants to get involved with other people, but the fact that he's not allowed that to stop him from doing this is great. That he's still pursuing, you know, what he wants to do.
Well, it gives honestly that little bit of confidence that if you don't have a team, then you can still go out and do it. You just need some big kahunas to go and do it on your own.
Well, wait, let me ask Sarah if I could take mine out of her handbag, and because I honestly, I just don't, you know, fair play to him. I think, you know, it takes a great character to do, you know, all night, like, because we know, like Brian, for example, he does investigations on his own, but we're talking the next step of what Michael's doing is staying in these locations and you know, 24 hours locked up and no one around you, but creepy rooms.
No way. So that being said, tomorrow we're out at 30 East Drive, so we've got a little bit of a trailer for tomorrow, so we'll play that, and then we'll say our goodbyes after that.
Cool.
I'm getting good at all these little edits, aren't I?
You're getting good at it. You're doing a good job there.
Oh,
but no,
dear.
it'll be a good investigation.
It's
You know,
going to
with
be
MJ as
interesting.
well.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah, I think, for me, where I've been there before, I've sort of got my little thoughts on what I think,
yeah.
and we will see what unfolds, and but other than that, anything else that you got coming up for the patrol?
So me and Cameron will be joining you the weekend after. We're going to a Gothic masquerade ball at the Festival of
yeah,
the Unexplained. Bit of
that'd
karaoke.
be you and Sarah will be doing the. I'm just going to be sat there. I'm going to
A
be sat
hot
there
tub.
again. I'll be, I'll go in, the water will jump out, so I'll just sit on the side and watch.
Come on, mate. Come on.
But
So,
no,
no,
that would
I'm
be good.
looking forward to that.
That would be definitely a good weekend. Some of the guests that they got lined up as well for the speakers, they got people like Dave Schrader,
Yep.
Neil Story, Penny Griffiths Morgan,
Danny Moss.
Darren Marston, Danny Moss.
They
They just brought on a new guest speaker as well, Jay Austin. Yeah, Jay Austin. He's
Okay.
more into ufology and things like that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, they just announced that the other day that he's going to be there. Rob Thompson, Spirit Medium.
Yep.
He's going to be there. So yeah, it should be. I think the masquerade ball will be fun. Seeing everyone dressed up with their masks, and Sarah put on her dress the other day, and I got to say, it took me back to the day we got married, like when she come down the aisle in her wedding dress. It was sort of like that. She looked absolutely stunning.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good weekend, I think. And then any other investigate? Then you've got the Global Ghost Hunt investigation.
Well,
hopefully.
at the moment, we'll
At
have
the
to wait
moment.
and see what happens with that one, because our location are being a little bit funny, because we're going to be part of the Global Ghost Hunt, and they want the rights to the videos and everything. So I've emailed her back today and just saying, look, you were told that we were going to be part of the Global Ghost Hunt. So your old manager agreed that it was okay. So you can't now change the goalposts. It's a bit unfair to do it with like a month to go.
That's not cool.
So we're waiting to see. But if they do say no, then we'll just find another location. I'll get my money back, and I'll make sure that they're not advertised on the Global Ghost Hunt, because at the moment they're advertised in the video. So,
well, we can arrange for maybe you come down our way, and we could do one of the locations down here if you wanted to join us down here, which would be cool. But yeah, for Portal, I think the team's back out on location at Murchison Hall in September. I think it's the 16th of September, which would be quite cool.
16th?
And then the 16th, the part of the team.
You won't be there.
No, I'll be with you guys.
Yeah.
But the rest of the team will be out on location.
Oh.
And then I think, I'm not sure what else. I think it's the Festival of the Unexplained that we're looking forward to. It'll be a good weekend. And then the Global Ghost Hunt in October.
Yep.
See what happens then.
And then planning for the Lavity to come back over next year.
Yes. I
and
think
do it
that's
my haunted hotel.
See, that would be a great location. Now, just in case people watching don't know, My Haunted Hotel is run by Danny Moss and his team. And it just seems it's one of those locations that, let's be honest, if you're a normal watcher, you could say this is fake, but they've actually had debunkers in there that can't debunk the stuff that's going on. So, and I think Beardo was one of them, wasn't he? And if you've seen Beardo's videos, he is very direct. He'll say it as he sees it. And for him to be able to say that he couldn't debunk some of the stuff, it just makes me think, okay, that's a location that has to, because there's some crazy, and I'll be honest, some crazy shit that's happened in that hotel.
Yeah.
That,
like I say, roommate's got your name written all over it.
Mate, you in this bloody room? No.
Why? What's wrong
Look,
with a doll, Nando? That come on, you can't be scared of a doll.
mate, look, I'm sure I'm not the only one that doesn't like the dolls. I don't like your dolls. I don't like your nun. And I don't.
No wrong
Yeah.
with her. She's all right. Between you and Brian, you complain about my background. Brian doesn't like clowns, so he can't look at it. You don't like the nun. What should I
What was
put
the
up there?
post? What was the post that I said about your background? We were talking one night, and I took a screenshot, didn't I, with you in there? And what
And
was
the
that?
nun.
I said you need to put something like rainbows or something up just to lighten the mood in that room. Yeah, but mate, honestly, the nuns and the skull and everything, it's a bit.
No wrong with it. Leave me alone. Just because
Look,
I don't, have a. I love my nun. Leave it alone.
but no, let's leave his room alone. But it's another great show. Next
really enjoyed it.
Monday we have Patty Nabry.
We do have Petty
We
Neighbour
have
next
Patty
Monday.
Nabry joining us next week.
Yes.
She is she calls herself a white witch.
A white witch, a medium. She is on Ghost Adventures, Sam and Colby, various other TV channels. She's actually out with Ghost Adventures at the time of the podcast, so she will be talking to us from there.
Wonderful.
As long as he doesn't come on. Oh,
That'd be-
if he pops up on camera, I'm going to turn it off.
Anyway,
Goodbye, Zach.
anyway, another good show to look
No,
forward to.
if Zach pops up on camera, I'm going to quickly send a link to Brian so Brian can come up and call bullshit.
That podcast is not going to last for long, people. But no, it should be great to hear about Patty's background, because she's done a hell of a lot over the years. So it'd be great to hear from her. And then I think after that, have we got one as we return from the festival? Do it very quickly.
Yeah. When we come back from the festival, we've got Shani Struthers, who does, she lives in Brighton. She is a paranormal fiction writer. She writes paranormal books. And then at the end of the month, we've got the two ladies from the festival.
Karen and Rachel.
Yeah, Portal to the Paranormal. Cameron will be joining me on behalf of the patrol, and Danny Moss, and we'll be doing a
review of the weekend.
Yeah, a get together on how the weekend went. So,
who made the biggest tit out of themselves?
That'll be me singing the Okie Kokie up on stage or something after a few whiskeys.
Oh, we're going to have videos to play. I'll tell you that now.
We are going to have videos to play.
And it ain't going to be me doing anything, because I'm just going to sit in the corner like a good boy and just watch you lot get drunk.
So stripper music will come on and you'll be there like da 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 da.
That would end the festival very quickly. I think that'll end the show very quickly as well. But no, lots to look forward to with the upcoming shows.
Yeah.
So it's great. As I said, we're really enjoying doing the Shadow podcast. We've had some amazing, we've had amazing guests on. We've had some real different guests on, I would say already. I'll be honest. Rob's done the main lineup of guests. When he wanted to do this, he really threw himself into it. And I think when he come up with like Beardo, the debunker, I was nervous. I don't know if you remember. I was like, mate, this is dangerous. We're getting a debunker to come on, but which turned out to be absolutely brilliant. And then we had Wild Bill.
We've got coming up in October. We've got Glenda. She's coming on. We got Purple, which is another debunker, and then another controversial one. I'm waiting for him to confirm.
Oh yeah, and told me this one.
He's a bishop. He's very well known. He used to be the bishop that Zach Bagans went to do all the exorcisms on the TV show.
I think I know who you're on about.
He's now on, he's got over 1 million viewers on TikTok. And he's since came out and said that everything he'd done on Ghost Adventures was all fake because Zach was giving him lots of dollars. So yeah, he's coming on the show. He's still he's still an active bishop, and he still does do it all, like all the exorcisms for the Vatican and all that lot. So yeah, I'm just waiting for him to confirm his date. It may not be a Monday night, it may be a Sunday, but yeah. So that's a nice controversial one for us to have.
Yeah, another one. And you know, as we also said, we also have our separate stuff that we're doing. You know, so just to quickly mention my side, we've got Portal to the Paranormal, where you can check us out on Facebook. We're on YouTube, and our next Portal podcast is on the, I think it's the 20th of September, 21st of September.
Yeah, and it's on 30 East Drive.
And yeah, it is. So basically, what Dan wanted to do, he wanted to do something a little bit different, where we look into case files of haunted locations, and we just discuss, you know, the nature of the hauntings, you know, the evidence that's been presented, and we're sort of discussing, could this be exaggerated, like we did with the Pennyford Farm, you know, which was a great conversation. So if you want to check that out, you can check us out on Facebook and YouTube.
Brian's got a new one as well, hasn't he? Brian,
Sorry?
if you're in the comments, tell us what your new show is so I can
it's called
plug it for you.
Beyond the Hauntings podcast. If I've got that name right.
Why is he calling it a vodcast? All of a sudden.
Do you know what? I didn't know this. The vodcast means it's a video version of what we're doing. Podcast is actually ones that you do for things like Spotify and all that. I didn't know that. Beyond the Hauntings podcast. I was right. See,
you were right.
I do listen to him sometimes, not a lot, but I do. Yeah, so I think that's the difference between the podcast and so what we're technically doing really is a podcast.
Yeah.
But I just got used to calling things a podcast. It just sounds easier. But Beyond the Hauntings podcast. Now, I don't know if Brian, are you happy for me to sort of give a background what it's going to be about, Brian, or maybe I should leave that to him to do. You know, if he wants to put in the comments. But it sounds like it's a great show. Okay. Oh, okay. Now let's see how much I did
listen to him.
Let me see. Okay. So basically, what the podcast is going to be about is contacting owners of haunted locations, like known haunted locations, and what he wants to do is get them to do like a walk around of the location and discuss the history and the hauntings of the location as well with the owners, right. Which is, you know, I think his goal is, you know, he really wants to really get the locations out there, get them recognized for, you know, the beauty of the location, the history, and then the hauntings as well. So it's not based on an individual, it's actually based solely on the location itself. And, you know, and I think that would be a great show. The thumbnail looks amazing, what he's created already. You know, but I think I got that right. I hope I got it right. We'll see, find out when his name pops up, and
you'll see the
act. You know, or if I've got something wrong, it'll be WTF. That's what he says. If it's something right.
Dude,
you know, but yeah, I think it'll be great to see Brian back on doing his podcast, you know, and seeing the new one, because it'll be something different to what we're used to seeing, which would be great. But other than that,
do while Through the Lens is taking a sabbatical, it gives Brian something else to do. So
he's always doing something. Let's be honest. Brian,
I'd like to know how he goes on, and he's like a Duracell bunny. You just keep putting batteries in, and he goes on and on and on.
Oh, don't we know it sometimes?
You and me are so going to get booted from the admin team of Global Ghost Hunt, aren't we?
that was meant with love and affection.
He's going to be like, yeah, bye guys, that's it, you're done.
But to be fair to him, his mind's always going at 100 miles per hour. You know, he's always got something going on. Balls. Okay.
He didn't know that I sent you the link.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Mate, we're meant to be in this together. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Letting me
Cool.
talk.
Throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
it's
right, mate.
okay.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
How did
well.
I get
Yeah,
on
you
with
got it
your
right.
description? See?
You got it right. Obviously, I posted the new thumbnail today. And so hopefully we'll start that in the next couple of weeks. I have contacted a location that I'm hoping they're going to say yes. And it is going to blow people out of the water.
Cool.
People are going to be surprised if I get this location, if I get somebody to come on. Let's just put it this way. It's on my bucket list. And if I get this location, it is going to be a great show. And you're right. So my whole premise of the show is to find out about the history, not necessarily the hauntings. The hauntings will be a part of it, but and that's where the beyond comes from. Beyond the hauntings, what was this place before it became a paranormal location? So that's what it's going to be about, and hopefully. What people will be able to do is walk through the location while they're being interviewed, which would be great. But I know that's going to be a little bit difficult because a lot of places don't have, Wi-Fi. And if they do, it's sometimes kind of crappy. So what I'll get the guests to do, hopefully, is do a walkthrough, film it, and then send it to me. And then we'll play it during the show, and they can talk about the various spots that they're showing during their video. So, and hauntings will be involved in that part, obviously. But we'll show pictures, we'll show video, and we'll talk about the location and its history. And I have not seen... obviously, I've seen podcasts where they've had people on that have haunted locations, but this is strictly a show about haunted locations. So every time I'm up every week or whatever it's going to be, twice a month or whatever it's going to be, it's going to be a continuous thing of just haunted locations, and that's it. I love doing the paranormal thing. I love interviewing paranormal investigators, but I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I haven't seen this out there. So I thought it'd be something different and something really cool. You guys know that I'm a huge believer, or a huge what's the word I want to look for? Advocate, I guess, on haunted locations and keeping them around. And I like what Michael said when you guys were interviewing, and I was watching. Obviously, I was sending messages. I like what Michael said. He saw the thumbnails of the Global Ghost Hunt and called those locations and booked the spots. Yeah. And that's why I made that comment. That's why we do this for Global Ghost Hunt. It's about the locations. Yeah, it's about the teams for sure, but it's more about the locations and the preservation of these locations. So it was nice to hear that the two spots that, the one spot he's doing tomorrow, and then the next spot, it's all because of the Global Ghost Hunt, and that's how he found out about them. I'm surprised he didn't know about Edinburgh Manor, though, because that's a pretty popular spot. And I know Lisa Marie's doing it.
It just shows that we don't really know all the locations out there, do we? It's
but that's a real popular spot, though. And you've never heard of it?
No, I've never.
Either of you heard of it?
That's the first I heard of it tonight.
Well, I guess when you're outside of North America, you're more likely not to hear. But obviously, there's a lot of spots out in the UK I've never heard of. You know, so it's tit for tat, I guess. And
I thought when it was like Edinburgh Manor, I was thinking Scotland, and I was thinking, Jesus, he's flying a long way. And then obviously
Edinburgh Manor because of Edinburgh, right? Yeah, that would make sense. But I will say he's crazy for doing it alone. It's not a place I would do alone. Now, Edinburgh Manor, I believe, is one of those places where it's hit or miss. You can go in one time and not capture anything, and then you can go in the next weekend. There's loads of stuff going on. And I know a few people that have gone and have had some amazing experiences there. Well, depending how you're looking at it, amazing, being touched. And, as a paranormal investigator, it's an amazing experience. As just a normal person that doesn't do it, it's not so amazing. You know what I mean? So
as we found with Don Vic the other day, when we were trying to get Vic to do a paranormal investigation, he was very quick to, no, not for him.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think we're getting it into him. I think he eventually he will cave.
I think you two doing it together, that would be
funny. That'd be
be a very good investigation.
And I'm going to be waiting for him to run, right? And I'm going to film that, and I'm going to follow him when he's running. But Beyond the Hauntings is something that I've been thinking about doing for a while. Originally, I was looking for a co-host. I thought I had found one. Unfortunately, she for time, she just couldn't commit. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own. And I reached out to a place that I really, really hoping that I hear back from them, and people are going to be blown away what the location is. Cool. So hopefully I get them. If not, I know a lot of other places. There's so many places in this world.
I think one to do would be the Tombstone. Around that
I'll definitely get to that. Soon. I'll tell you what it is after the show, guys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is after the show.
We will end it there.
But thank you for sending me the link. I'm not sure why you did that. But
all the time he was digging a hole for himself, I was just like, "Come on!"
Well, no, he did well. He did well. He does listen to me every so often.
As I said.
Did you hear the comments before the show? You know about him going bald, and we could be the new Lex and Brian, and
Is that what you want to do?
I don't want him to go bald.
No, I don't want to go bald. No.
Well, it could happen.
Why did you not want to go bald, Nando?
Because I look like a Cabbage Patch doll if I went bald. Do you know
Some
what
people?
Hey,
listen. There was a comment today somewhere on my timeline about this TV show, and I won't get into it. And this guy being bald and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I'm comfortable with it, and I don't mind it. I look pretty good bald. So
yeah, you look good bald. I wouldn't look good bald. I would look. I'm ugly as it is. I don't need anything else to happen to make me look worse. So that's how.
Well, I was saying earlier in the show that Rob looks like a gangster today, especially with his hat and it's flat across. Like mine are usually like this.
Yeah, but it's the new merch for the patrol.
Yeah, you guys got some stuff coming up, eh?
Yeah,
you guys got a lot of things coming up. Patty Negri next week, and you got 30 East Drive tomorrow. I'm looking forward to watching that live, and the Global Ghost Hunt, and then you got other things. You got an event. You got an event coming up, right, Nando?
Yeah, we're going to the festival.
Yeah, we're going to the festival, the Unexplained.
No, I'm talking about an event like a Portal to the Paranormal.
Yeah, we've got one on the 16th, Murchison Hall, the one we did for the Global Ghost Hunt.
Cool.
So the team are returning there for an investigation. And then the one that I'm excited about is the one on the 28th of October. We are going to a place called the Gurkha Museum. So it's basically it housed like the Gurkhas during World War I believe.
Okay.
And what's great about this, there's been a lot of paranormal activity, but only never been investigated. It's been people that are working there, like people doing decorating. They've been in the museum and they've been touched. They've heard voices. They've heard the sounds of marching and things like that. Oh, so wow. we're excited. This was never one that was I don't know how Dan come across it. He found it. And we went there, and it's just amazing, the artifacts and the museums that they preserved, and the history behind it as well. Is literally the place is on an old barracks as well. Used to be a barracks. So we're really excited for that one, and hopefully we'll be able to do that as part of the Global Ghost Hunt as well.
And I'm just thinking about this. I'm just thinking about when I was down there in the UK last year. One woman I'd love to bring on the show, my new show, would be the woman from the 1940s tea room. I think she'd be a hoot to have on the show.
She's a lovely lady. Isn't she?
I think she would be an absolute hoot to have on the show, and to walk around her location and get that more out there, because that place was great.
Yeah, and she dresses for the time.
Exactly.
The 1940s tea room is basically, it's just a tea room.
Yeah.
But all the stuff that she's got is dated to like the World War One, and and she dresses the part as well, doesn't
That's
she?
nice.
So
Gives that little bit extra, doesn't it?
I'd love to get her on the show.
I've got Jackie. I remember. Yeah, I've got her number still actually, so I can reach out to her.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great. You think she'd be comfortable enough to come on?
Oh yeah,
she podcast or a vodcast? A vodcast.
A vodcast.
I did the vodcast on purpose, right? I did the vodcast on purpose. I said vodcast on purpose because that's really what it is.
That's what it is. See,
it is.
Mm-hmm. But they discuss that in the background.
But it'll be great to see you back on doing your shows, Brian.
I don't know what's happening with Through the Lens at the moment, but that will eventually come back as well. And if it's just by myself, I'll do it by myself. It's all good. And then every so often I'll have a guest co-host. So that's where I am right now with Through the Lens, but I want to get this new show started and start getting these locations and getting them out there. And again, I'll go back to what I said earlier about Michael. I'm ecstatic when he said he got his locations from the Global Ghost, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, you saw the thumbnails that were going.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really, really awesome. That's what I love to hear.
Cool. Good.
Well, I'll throw everyone in the back room and
see everyone next week then.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, tomorrow night. Join us tomorrow night. 9 o'clock for a live investigation.
So yeah.
It's going to be fun. You guys are going to be fun. We get to see inside of 30 East Drive live, and we will determine if it's really haunted or not.
That is it.
Right. That's the thing. I've been there before, and like I said to Rob earlier on, I've got my sort of, my thoughts on the place, but we'll see what happens tomorrow.
But you have to say that on live. Give your thoughts tomorrow on the place.
Yeah.
It's important to give your thoughts.
Yeah. I think because I've been there before, I'm not going to be as vocal straight away, because I think it would be fair to just for like these guys to sort of see what they're thinking, and we'll see what happens.
Cool.
But
for now, guys, thanks for having me on.
We'll see everybody tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll see you in the back, I guess. Should I wait in the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
See you guys later.